Thank you for joining me this afternoon. This is the UBC Weekly News Roundup with me, Moureen Babirye, on this 8th of February 2026. Let's get into our reports. President Yoweri Museveni on Saturday held bilateral talks with Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania. The two heads of state agreed to deepen the Uganda-Tanzania cooperation in energy, trade, infrastructure, and regional peace and security. This was in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Take a look.
President Yoweri Museveni and his Tanzanian counterpart, President Samia Suluhu Hassan, have reviewed progress on key joint projects, including the East African crude oil pipeline EACOP, which remains on course.
La kwanza walilozungumza ni swala zima la ujenzi wa mabomba ya.
Our ministers have consulted and reached a consensus on how to progress on the construction of the East African crude oil pipeline. There is a commitment to fast-track the construction process in order to achieve the first commercial oil export through Tanzania in July this year.
Ndugu zetu kwa mazungumzo yetu kuanzia Julai huenda meli ya kwanza ikaondoka pale Tanga kwenda mafuta yanakopelekwa.
So the issue of market integration was part of the liberation process of Africa. Without it, there is no way we can manage. So all these details we are talking about, they are details of the same strategic goal of how to build prosperity. The big countries can try to put pressure on us, but the way you resist depends on how strong you are.
They also discussed plans for gas and refined oil pipelines aimed at strengthening shared energy security and positioning Tanzania as a key export corridor for Uganda.
Tumezungumzia mabomba mawili mengine. Kuna bomba la gesi.
We have also talked about the other projects as well, such as the gas pipeline from Tanzania to Uganda. We have plans to utilize the same pipeline corridor for exporting our gas to Uganda and other hinterland countries.
Hiyo ushoroba huo kusafirisha hadi Tanga na Tanga kutafuta safari yako huko yanakopelekwa.
Discussions in Dar es Salaam further focused on trade facilitation measures, improved access to the ports of Dar es Salaam and Tanga, expanded railway connectivity, and the removal of non-tariff barriers to boost cross-border trade.
Prosperity kwa enzi hizi ni kuzalisha mali, kuzalisha bidhaa au huduma. Kama unataka prosperity, you must produce a good or a service, and you said it. Now, ukisha zalisha mali au kutoa huduma, lazima upate mtu wa kununua kutoka kwako.
On peace and security, President Museveni and President Samia reaffirmed their commitment to joint efforts towards stability in the Great Lakes region, underscoring that Africa's prosperity lies in production, value addition, and strategic security. Dennis Igoa for UBC.
Now, that was Dennis Segoa in Tanzania with the president of Uganda and that of Tanzania. Now, back in Uganda, President Yoweri Museveni congratulated the people of Kabale and Uganda at large for the unwavering support given to FRONASA, also NRA fighters, during the armed struggles that ushered into power the current NRM government. Museveni made these remarks at Kabale National Teachers College playground during the 45th Tarehe Sita celebrations attributing the sacrifices and gains made through liberation struggles. Haruna Mtesasida gathered this report.
Thousands of people gathered at Kabale NDC grounds to celebrate the 45th 30-seater, a ceremony graced by the President, His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The President first commissioned the amendment in Kabale municipality grounds in honor of Foronasa fighters who were executed by former President Idi Amin Dada following unsuccessful attack by Foronasa fighters on Simba Barracks in 1970s. The monument recognizes gains and role played by historical Foronasa NRA members in the armed struggle that led to the liberation of Uganda. Later, the President was ushered into the venue in the company of the First Lady, Mama Janet Kataha Museveni. The armed forces showcased the mighty military parade performances by all security forces.
Thank the people of Kigezi for the enthusiasm they showed us throughout this period spanning back November. Abanyakigezi mwebale munonga.
The people of Uganda have indeed vindicated themselves very well. Well done to all Ugandans and Happy New Year to all of you. Your Excellency, on behalf of the officers and men of the UPDF and the entire security system in Uganda, we offer our profound congratulations to you upon your well-deserved election victory.
During his speech, President Museveni attributed the sacrifices made by the earlier Foronasa fighters during the liberation struggles in 1970s.
Because today we are celebrating 30-seater, but also celebrating the victory we had recently in the elections. We are celebrating both. Now, I started coming to Kabale in 1964 when we came to play cricket with Butobere. Then I came to Kabale in the resistance against Idi Amin when I came to see Karambuzi, the Tuareg.
Museveni saluted the security forces for the peace enjoyed during the recent general elections, with the NRM winning over the landslide margin.
I want to salute the UPDF and the other security forces for the robust security they gave during the recent elections. They did a very good job.
The Chief of Defense Forces CDF General Muhoozi Kainerugaba was decorated with Kabalega Star Medal for his dignified services in the army.
The second highest military decoration is awarded for gallantry to Resistance Officer 08643 General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the UPDF Chief of Defense Forces.
Other decorated senior officers with Renzo Star medals include Lieutenant General Kanja Muhanga, Lieutenant General Charles Okedi, and Major General James Kinarwa. Tarehe Sita is the day the UPDF commemorates its transition from Foronasa NRA to UPDF, honoring the sacrifices of its fighters to Uganda's development. Foronasa fighters were the earliest recruits mobilized by Museveni in 1970s to fight Amin's regime. In attendance were top government and military officials, among others. Haruna Mtesasira, reporting for UBS News in Kabale District.
Thank you. Now, still relatedly, more than 4 decades after the 1981 liberation struggle, Uganda's story of sacrifice and resilience continues to be retold, this time through music. One song, Yebare Muzeyi, has resurfaced, paying tribute to President Yoweri Museveni and the men and women whose decision to go to the bush altered the country's course. The project was partly spearheaded by veteran musician Sister Charity, who says the song was born out of memory and a deep desire to preserve the liberation struggle story for generations to come.
Okangara, it means stay longer. That legacy has to be there.
In the early 2000s, Sister Charity was a familiar voice on Ugandan radio. Widely known for her hit song, Great.
Nituchimanya jetwe n'abakyala gwekikaze ikiba kibe kyekishaija ndi mushomesa ningo mwegesa onka abashaija neija mubegesa n'okuboleka.
She later shifted her focus from popular music to themes of history and national reflection.
Yebare muzeyi n'abagenzi bawe kuzahura Uganda mukahangare.
The memories of young people who abandoned classrooms for the battlefield never left her. That sacrifice became the foundation for turning liberation history into song.
I remember it is me who got these words, ba mujuni, ba mutambi, ba muchunguzi, as in ba savior, ba rescuer, ba healer. You know, they healed Ugandans from those wounds.
Yebare Muzeyi was crafted as a tribute, not a campaign anthem. A familiar melody was reworked to carry a message of gratitude, remembrance, and national pride.
For us, we did it as a contribution, you know, as a contribution to this government, to those heroes. So I won't say that we tried to meet any government official about this song.
Artists from different districts were brought together, reflecting the national character of the liberation struggle.
That is why we looked at this Mchiga girl, Musimenta Florence. She's an NRM girl, if I may say. She was first on our list. Then we thought of going to Isinjiro. We got Nabasa Lilian. She was trending, and she's still trending anyways, but still loving government. So yeah, like we can also have her in. Then we thought of Mbarara district. That was him, Lauben Tuijuche. Me, I'm from Shema. And then we got one from Ntungamo. So we started from Rukunjiri, Ntungamo, Isinjiro, Mbara, then Shema. We are 5 guys.
The song also highlights liberation fighters, faces many Ugandans recognize, but whose names history was slowly beginning to forget.
That there was this Pandagari, those army men could like rape women, they could cut people's heads, you know. It seems it was a so bad situation by then. And these guys going to the bush, they were against such acts.
Recorded quietly during the COVID-19 pandemic, the song entered the public space with little attention. By 2026, as Uganda marks another Tarehe Sita, it has taken on renewed meaning.
We are one of the Ugandans who work at night. Most of the time we do our shows at night. You find that you can go a very long distance at night, even at like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. and no one happens to disturb you on the way. So I think they also like this government for that.
Sister Charity says the project was voluntary and unfunded, though it stirred debate on who was mentioned and who was left out.
And some of these guys are still alive, mark you. And for those who are no longer alive, at least they have sons and daughters. So people appreciated, they loved, and holding the name YKM7 itself, really it was so relevant. The guy who is still here, the judge who is still trending, the judge who is still in power. So that is how it came to be popular.
Despite the challenges facing message-driven music today, the mission remains unchanged to keep the liberation legacy alive.
For us, what we do, it's a matter of staying strong, staying focused, seeing on the future generation to see what they can find. A few of us who can do. So that is why we are trying to, again, sing message, though it is not all that much welcomed like any other kind of songs.
As Uganda commemorates Tarehe Sita, Yebare Mzee stands as a reminder that the freedoms enjoyed today were earned through sacrifice. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Thank you so much, Henry Okrut, for bringing us to speed on that. Now, the National Peasants Party President Robert Kasibante has filed an application before the Supreme Court seeking permission to withdraw the 2026 presidential election petition he lodged against NRM's General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the Electoral Commission and the Attorney General. Kasibante cites financial constraints as the main reason for the withdrawal, saying the petition has become too costly to prosecute. He further says that although he had been promised financial support and evidence by other political parties, the commitments failed to materialize. We have a report.
The Supreme Court justices had scheduled to deliver a ruling on two applications filed by Robert Kasibante, one seeking access to data from the biometric voter verification kits held by the Electoral Commission and seeking evidence from President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Court also expected to rule on Kasibante's request to cross-examine the Electoral Commission chairperson and the Deputy Attorney General, Jackson Kafuzi. However, despite all parties appearing in court, the respondents were taken by surprise when Kasibante, through his legal team, revealed that he had already filed an application seeking to withdraw the petition.
So we are saying we wrote letters, which we are going to share with you, to all political parties to have evidence, to support us with evidence in that area. But most of them were adamant, but they did not all support us. And we said no. And we saw where we are going in needs money, which we didn't have.
Kasibante explained that prosecuting the petition will require him more than $5 million and navigating complex legal procedures, which he said he could no longer sustain.
Now, this case, to petition a case in a Supreme Court, you need like $3 billion. I sold all what I had to have this case filed here. Now, adding more 4 billion, that means I'm going to be announced a bankruptcy.
He therefore asked the Supreme Court to grant him permission to withdraw the petition. Following the development, proceedings could not continue. The justice held a 15-minute cross-door meeting with all parties, after which the Attorney General Chiriwa Chiwanuka addressed the media.
Everything that is done here in election petition is done very fast. So once the court tells you we're waiting, the court requires us to file our responses, and we're going to file responses immediately. As you may realize, we file opposing the application, we file opposing the petition. So from the Attorney General's, for the Attorney General's part, we don't intend to oppose.
Oh, wow, okay.
The Attorney General expressed disappointment, citing that time and resources already expended by the respondents.
Of course, we put in a lot of time and work. We were ready for the hearing. If you were here the last time, we did make our arguments on the application. We filed voluminous responses to the application. So yes, we obviously will be affected.
The Electoral Commission's lead lawyer, Mwesigwa Lukutana, said he was not surprised by the move, arguing that the petition lacked merit from the outset.
We're not happy because we put it out of time. Then as lawyers, we had expected a precedent because we had guided the court in our submissions on how to treat this application. And if this Supreme Court pronounced itself on the matter.
Other political actors approached him and promised to back him up. Unfortunately, he was left hanging in balance. He was smart enough. And he said, no, I have to do what? Maybe I have to withdraw. Because you guys, you are going to incur costs, of which costs, I don't know who would have bailed you out.
Kasibante, however, vowed to chant a new source of action following the withdrawal of the petition.
Phase 1 ewedde, tugenda mu phase 2. Enendemeredde. Betwakisuubira nti bagenda kunnyambako. Kakati ngenda ku kyakubiri, kyeseetaaga bannayuganda kunnyambako okuggyako abo abakkiriza mu byenkola ki byenzikiririzaamu. Mwami Kyagulanyi gobeera eyo, nangenda kubeera eno.
If formal responses are filed, the Supreme Court justices are expected to resume hearing next week to give further directions. In his main petition, Robert Kasibante had asked the Supreme Court justices to nullify President Museveni's election, citing alleged election irregularities, voter bribery, security agency involvement, and claims that voting took place in more than 15,000 non-gazetted polling stations. Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nasubuga, UBC News.
The Speaker of the Parliament, Anita Mong, has assured the people of Busia District that the government of Uganda will create Lumino District and establish an additional one-stop border post at Mulwanda in Lumino. Speaking as the chief guest at the Busia District Thanksgiving ceremony for President-elect Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the Speaker also announced plans to set up a skilling hub at Busiko, the former primary teachers' college in Busia.
The Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda, Anita Mong, has commended Busia District for turning out in large numbers to vote for President Museveni and NRM flag bearers in the recent polls, noting that there has been a significant increase in support of NRM compared to the 2021 general elections.
When the president stands for the next time, instead of getting 65% in Busia, he will get 95% like in Bukede. We want to thank you for supporting NRM.
The Thanksgiving event organized by the NRM Party National Treasurer Barbara Nekesa Undo drew several NRM Secretariat delegates.
So the country is developing, but systematically. This systematic development must be upheld to make sure that we attain the goals that we are looking for, Vision 2040. So we are happy with all that we have seen and we have achieved.
Kubanga mu Uganda generally President Museveni yafuna obululu buyitirivu okusinga kw'obwo bwe yali afunye okuva mu 1900 I think 90 something.
Ddala ebitundu 71 be yali tafunye emyaka 3 egiyise emiki emabega. Twagala okwebaza abantu ab'ebusiya nti 71 eyo teyandisobose singa sapooti y'ebusiya teyaliiko. Naye ekituleetedde ddala nti okukunga akalulu kano n'obuwanguzi twabujjidde ddala ku byalo. Strategy y'okukunga yaffe yali ya ku byalo bakulembeze okuva ku village nga batwalira ddala tepaka ku national level.
The colorful ceremony was also graced by the newly elected local leaders, including Wanyama Richard Hamala, Julius Maganda Wandera, Anyango Janet Hope, Wandera John Paul, and John Charles Namaindi, the LC5 elect.
That had given President Yoweri Museveni 46% in 2021, and you get it into 65%. It wasn't easy. There were some challenges. The biggest challenge we faced here in Busia was some party members going against the flag bearers.
To use the skilling hub for the South Bukit is going to move down here and it will be at Busia. So my work is to remind her, because I said it here and I will be following up on that one.
Because once the stop border point is created, our people are going to be positioned and they are going to be placed. They are going to get a number of employment opportunities.
Saddam Mubale, Sando Martin, UBC News.
Now, in rather tragic news, Oligoi sub-county in Bukedea district was engulfed in violence during the recent LC3 elections, leaving several homes in a mere village reduced to ashes. The clashes also claimed the life of the NRM sub-county chairperson. In the aftermath, residents whose homes were destroyed have fled to neighboring districts, fearing retaliatory attacks from relatives of the deceased. The situation remains tense as authorities work to restore calm.
Anyama kimi borongo togo kere, anyama kado chimets, kapararenge jarakinan, ajeseme rapu koreteng, la uta lelo muto mo kanisa. Idoda raye kanisa esemero la otonga noenga rakiti kokyok.
Toma bete no apoloko ka asilerato to bet. Ne ijongo kidika le akwa tauni kida akaisaka nyika nyauni. Toma bete akerati tungano edole takwatare mameti iduwe boni dumuni jore ya parane kidi tungano apoloko konya ngoro ni pu akerati tunga mami tunge pere tokali ya mameti tunga pere titungo kutwi kidaja dumuno tunga konini keriari jebe iwala akwapu akota iwara kaijara do bere bwa munya bala itunga ngune jena pugani oponele epone anata kesi kwe kali ya itunga kokoto se yarito dakito sipagai aye pia iborono ekwaka ngesi monya tungano ame
erasa angono bongo anwa wala tiakanyi isanu wongo lo akwari bunda tungana dakite mudu adumuno ngaji ore kanin ayengo oshepi le fence apirro ngambusa asuta bala yuare nyoni ayuara kaijara buya tungana no bu napte kobat nomite tingite simu ebaton inera pupi dongo nesinera offense kanin balabe ijayore konya tamonga ingechi mamunga bwa peda jeno ne aputo netwani angon ne sai monya na yasho ireda kina sho aligoy mama ina ta sha pedori na seoni tunganani yende kota sitongo to ma pedori kai bala rekisili ne sanguriana ewole jeine
na reso mauna kirono itwa kirema betureria iduwe jasi kopani duwe bedalo sa shoma na balasa ishara kone kale katalo kwa pugani ituna ishoda eja utana lijari sali goyane ereja utana leke kasa pasa ngoro kapa ngona aja inenerana arai na ajore ne pechitoi aneduwa shoman esoma unosi no pora na dum no ngagogo
mamji pedo rei jene be ngai bongi na bunete atingara ngakanika ukwana bakasukube order from ababo kwa pugan no kujungi pengini ba ngarai sisoda
True.
May the soul of the deceased continue resting in peace. Now from Bukedea, we take you to Chegegwa, where the spiritual head of the Faith of Unity, Owobusobozi Akugizibwe Bisaka, has reaffirmed his call for discipline, integrity and hard work as essential pillars for promoting unity, peace and prosperity. His remarks came during the confirmation of 425 Bahedeza in Chegegwa district. The ceremony took place last evening at Nyabuhiko Itambiro in Obukwenda of Kakabara during a pastoral visit aimed at strengthening values of unity and harmony among followers. Take a look.
The spiritual head of the Faith of Unity, Owobusobozi Yakugizibwe Bisaka, confirmed 425 Bahereza in Chegegwa district after they completed a year-long training.
Kuba bahereza baruhanga mugeni mwegise kigambo cyo abantu baterane tugonzangane tuganyirangane.
They were officially presented by the head of Obukwenda of Kakabara, Omukwenda Tibahwerayo, who assured Owobusobozi of their competence and readiness to spread the message of unity globally.
Twabakaguza twaleta namabara kana nabo bazire kurayiro maiso ga tatu.
He commended believers and leaders of the Faith of Unity from across the country for their dedication to God, prayer, and global promotion of unity, a commitment that has significantly contributed to the growth of the faith. The Member of Parliament-elect highlighted the role of the Faith of Unity in mobilizing support for President Museveni and the NRM candidates. He reiterated that his leadership will continue to focus on fostering peace, prosperity and development among his followers. Attendees expressed gratitude to Owobusobozi Bisaka for his spiritual guidance, healing and support in helping them deepen their connection with God. Thousands of followers presented gifts in appreciation, while over 200 new members joined the faith, coming from the other religious backgrounds. I'm Benon Mukwaya with Timothy Sibas.
Now, as Muslims prepare for the holy month of Ramadan, members of the charitable organization Al Salam Charity have launched an initiative to support the underprivileged. Through a series of charity runs across different communities, the group aims to raise funds for vulnerable people living in Kampala. The funds raised will go towards providing basic necessities and support to those in need or without stable homes, in line with the spirit of compassion and generosity that defines the holy month of Ramadan.
Presenting to you the Al Salam Ramadan Charity Run. This run is aimed at raising funds to facilitate Muslims in those less privileged areas around Kampala. Many people think that the less privileged people are in the villages, but also in Kampala we have people who cannot afford a safe, a good meal. That's a date, pilau, safe drinking water. But Al Salam Charity, we are here to bring to you the run that is going to bring funds or raise funds to feed those people during the month of Ramadan. And as we know, the noble prophet Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us in a hadith where we feed people. If you feed anyone in the month of Ramadan, Allah will multiply those rewards times 10. So we call upon each and every individual to come and support this run. Come and give us your money. We shall use it in the rightful way. We shall feed the people as you intend to feed them.
Emisinde gino ja kukunganya sente ezokubeera bikati tuteketeka lamanzaani tumaze bbanga ggwanvu nga tusabiriza tulinda abawarabu naye nga naffe kennyini Ssaabasajja Kabaka ne Katikkiro wa Buganda baatuyigiriza nti naffe kennyini tusobola okwebeereramu tusobola okukola ekyaffe kaakati kino tutandikiddwa okuva leero mobilizinga sente okuva mu misinde gino tusobole okubeera nga tusiibulula abasiraamu mu Uganda mu lamanzaani eno.
People have come, they have joined. We appreciate Al Salam Charity and everyone. Today, Alhamdulillah, I'm going to flag off the runners, and we are sure that every penny collected from this charity will benefit the needed, bi'idhni Rahman. So we thank you everyone. My message to everyone, mostly Muslims, in this coming Ramadan, please let's help each other.
Child marriage remains a major challenge in Uganda's Rwenzori sub-region despite ongoing interventions by government and civil society. The practice, driven largely by poverty, school dropouts and harmful culture norms, continues to expose girls to early pregnancies and long-term social and health risks. The Commissioner for Youth and Children's Affairs at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Mondo Chateka, has called on families and communities to prioritize education as a critical measure to curb the practice of child marriage.
Uganda has the 16th highest incidence of child marriage in the world, with about 1.6 billion lost to harmful cultural practices, including child marriage, alongside the health and social consequences. Child marriage prevalence in the western region of Uganda is significantly high, with estimates placing it at approximately 58%, making it one of the highest in the country. In the Rwenzori sub-region, early marriage is driven by poverty, school dropouts and child negligence. The region continues to record alarming cases of early marriages and teenage pregnancies.
We have come to find out that there's an issue of parental negligence, the issue of culture, where when young girls start their periods in Bundubujo, they are known as, the community perceives them as if they are ready for marriage. So that is one of the findings that we have found out, but also the issue of awareness. The communities are not fully aware about the issues of child protection.
The vice is fueled by the fact that people are producing beyond their means. People produce so many children and they fail to look effectively after these children.
Some families prioritize income from cocoa farming over education, while others withdraw young girls from school for early marriages linked to economic benefits.
When a girl child is not in school or when they are redundant, their chances of getting pregnant at an early age or even getting married off are high because they do not have a lot that engages them.
They go because of money. Because I'm 22, I have my friends around the age bracket. They telling me as long as the guy gives me money, then you're telling me nothing.
In response, different NGOs, including the Muslim Women and Girls Rights Advocacy Initiative, among others, are working with local governments in the sub-region by implementing various mentorship programs targeting young mothers.
We work with the girls out of school and then the girls who are in school. For the girls who are in school, we empower them in leadership skills and also training them and educating them on their rights as girl children.
For empowerment, we're engaging them in vocational skills training courses, short courses, especially like here we have interventions of training young girls in liquid soap making, carrion making.
Stakeholders emphasize the need for sustained investment in education, child protection systems, and economic empowerment to strengthen community resilience.
And why we are advocating for the marriage bill, it is this specific law that tackles the issue of child marriage, where a person who is found guilty of sending their child or even their relative, even their neighbor, sending a young girl into marriage, that person will be convicted to 10 years imprisonment.
It takes a village to bring up a child. That's the old African adage. Can we have everybody being responsible for the children around the environment, around the ecosystem he or she lives, other than having big men sleeping with small girls?
As stakeholders push for lasting solutions, education, child protection, and economic empowerment remain critical to ending child marriage in the Rwenzori sub-region, restoring girls' futures, and strengthening community resilience across Western Uganda and eventually nationwide.
You've heard from the horse's mouth. Now, in Bududa, the newly elected legislators in Bududa district have been urged to embrace unity and teamwork to effectively address the long-standing social and economic challenges facing the disaster-prone district. The call was made by Uganda's ambassador to China, Her Excellency Oliver Waneka, while addressing leaders and residents during a Thanksgiving ceremony held at the home of the Buchigai Member of Parliament-elect Wabusani Stephen Makwa in Bududa district. Take a look.
Noted that teamwork is key to effective service delivery and cautioned leaders against conflicts that may lead to disunity.
Let's work together. Honorable Wabusani elect, MP elect, please go work together with other MPs for the sake of development of not only Uganda, but specifically your district, Bududa. Work in such a way that all Bagisu, they benefit instead of blaming. The president doesn't like us. The president doesn't give us that, doesn't do the other.
The Thanksgiving ceremony attracted several dignitaries, including Commissioner for Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Management from the Office of the Prime Minister, Moureen Babirye, who warned of anticipated heavy rainfall that is likely to trigger landslides, especially in mountainous areas.
We are expecting rain above the normal from March to May. The most important message to our people now is for them to be on the lookout. We are soon coming to radio, TVs as this one, to pass this message to them so that people should be aware that anytime a disaster will strike.
Bududa district has over the years suffered repeated natural disasters that have claimed lives and displaced hundreds of residents. Former Commissioner for Secondary Education, Sam Kuloba, called on government to fast-track long-term solutions to address the recurring disaster, citing population pressure on land as a major risk factor.
Because this population is exploding, there is a lot of pressure on the land, and the land is very small, and the terrain is bad. Government needs to come in to find lasting solutions for the people of Bududa so that they are resettled in areas that they like.
Meanwhile, the host and Buchigai MP-elect Wabusani Stephen Makwa pledged to lobby government for improved service delivery in his constituency.
Yes, we are talking about the circular road from Ubulu to Bududa, but internally we also need the feeder roads which are motorable, which can easily help our people.
In the January 15, 2026 general elections, voters in Bududa overwhelmingly supported the ruling National Resistance Movement with expectations of improving service delivery. Amiga Muhammad, UBC, here in Bududa district.
So, Muchala.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later.
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165 *80# or use the Momo app.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
So, Mutyala.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later.
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
Welcome back from the break, and now in our business news, tea farmers from the Chigezi and Ankole sub-regions have lauded President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for securing the 2026-31 presidential term and expressed gratitude for his commitment to pay over 120 billion Uganda shillings for tea seedlings supplied to government programs. The resolutions emerged during a meeting held yesterday at Kanungu District Headquarters, where farmers and nursery operators convened to discuss accessing the promised funds.
Over 200 leaders of tea nursery bed farmers and growers from southwestern Uganda gathered at Kanungu District Headquarters to deliberate on the payment process for seedlings they supplied to government schemes.
At the moment he pays us, we shall be able to clear the debts, because our members have a lot of challenges. Some they are indebted, some have challenges of school fees, the challenges of banks. So we are requesting His Excellency the President and all relevant stakeholders to really help us and pay us as the directive from the President, so that we are able to solve our problem.
In 2008, President Museveni introduced tea growing in the Chigezi region, pledging that government would purchase tea seedlings from local nursery operators and distribute them to farmers free of charge to boost household incomes.
It engaged us to mobilize people, and then we prepare tea nursery beds to supply to farmers. But after organizing everything, the government failed to procure our tea, and thus we incurred a great loss, whereby the tea ended up overgrowing and also drying in the tea nursery beds. The good thing, the government had our problem, and it has tried to answer our cries. Now they promised to pay us, and we are only waiting for that payment, which is almost being worked on.
Farmers revealed they invested personal funds and in some cases took bank loans, but payments were delayed for years.
Farmers had been stuck with their tea nurseries. Some got dried, others were not paid, but finally the NRM government thought of paying its people, and that's the way it should work. I want to thank the President, the Cabinet, and the members of Parliament for taking the initiative of supporting farmers.
In August last year, during a meeting in Bushenyi district, President Museveni pledged to pay over 120 billion shillings to tea seedling suppliers.
We met the President, and His Excellency the President pledged to support, to pay the tea nursery bed operators who lost their seedlings in the gardens, failure by government procure those seedlings in the year of 2016-17, 17-18.
Frank Beruhanga, the chairperson of the Southwestern Tea Region Farmers and Growers Association, expressed appreciation over the government's commitment to honor the payments.
We really resolved, first of all, to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, for the support that he has given in the tea nursery bed operators and the entire tea sector.
Over 1,000 farmers across 12 districts in the southwestern region are expected to benefit from the funds. Farmers have called for a simple and fast payment process, citing school fees and unpaid bank loans as mounting financial pressures.
But we still have challenges.
School fees is okay. We have other bank loans. We therefore kindly request His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to implement his promise that he made to us.
Tea seedlings in the Ankole and Chigezi sub-regions have withered due to the prolonged dry season, causing significant losses for local farmers. Farmers remain hopeful that the payment will revitalize tea farming and support livelihoods across the region. Charity Marion Imnat and Nelson Akaturira for UBC News.
And now in our sports news, State Minister for Sports Peter Ogwang has lauded the proprietors of the Chitezi Skate Park, a new establishment that has inspired him to ensure the government sets up a national skate park as the country eyes Olympic representation.
A few years ago, Chitezi was in the news for purely the wrong reasons. Fast forward, what began as tragedy has rolled into triumph as Uganda opens its first public international standard concrete skate park in Chitezi, which is in northern Kampala.
Yes, indeed, this has been a big milestone for us. For some of you, you've been to our old skate park. It was a DIY, like do it yourself. We built it without professionals. It was not to any standards like of a professional skate park, but we were trying, and honestly, with the little we've been having, I can say we had almost the worst skate park, but then we had very good athletes. We had very good skaters, and that's what motivated people to join us. The partners from Make Life Skate Life, they saw that we were actually trying our best with even the little we had, and they decided to build for us this international standard skate park.
It's been opened by State Minister for Sports Peter Ogwang, who pledged support to the sport that many youth embrace.
The truth is, as government, we have not been putting a lot of investment in this sport. This one I want to be honest. Secondly, this sport, as you all know, it's played more in Europe and USA, Australia and New Zealand. And you know it's a sport which is an Olympic sport. And it is true, we have a federation in the country which participate in this sport. Also, our investment in terms of funding that federation has been minimal. It has been fully supporting depending on the international federation. And even now, building such a facility, it's a friends who loves a sport from the United States of America who came here and be able to work with a private person. They asked for land, the private person donated them this land. So that's why you see I've come up to say, as government, we can afford to look for land where we can put up a national skating park, which is good to have our selectors to host competitions across the African continent.
It was enabled by Make Life Skate Life in partnership with Climate Skaters Chitezi and the National Skating Board community.
We do skate park projects around the world. So we have completed skate parks in 18 countries, 18 different locations, and Uganda is the 19th location. And we've been doing this since 2013. And yeah, it's really out of the love for skateboarding that we do this. We bring together volunteers from all over the world, and work together with local communities to build such infrastructure.
The facility is the country's first of its kind, offering a safe, inclusive space for young people to express talent and build a resilience.
For this one, I have asked them that whenever they have their training, there must be a standby ambulance. We should be able to support them. Then the other issue is the road. I'm going to discuss this with first of all, the local government here. Number two is the Minister of Works and Transport to see how we could be able to have a good road to have access to this place. You've seen the kind of community which has come along here. So it tells you that there's a lot of demand and interest for the sport to happen.
The 450 square meter skate park grew from a small 90 square meter do-it-yourself skate spot built by local youth in 2023.
Now, for purpose of going forward, I have challenged the president of the FA of the Federation to ask him formally to come. If at all the sponsors have told me they can support the Federation by building. All they need is for us to provide land. So I think we will not fail to get land. Like you all know, we have about almost 128 acres of land inside the already secured land in Ambole. We can meet as a ministry, consult my senior minister, and see which part of that land can be earmarked to put such a sport. And that's why for us we want to insist, Ambole Stadium land will only be for sports, no any other activity. But also we can work with other schools, which are all under our ownership as government, to put in such a facility, because now you see the children who are here. You've seen there's a group from Mukono, there's a group in Bulu. So it means the sport is popular. And you can see our children, these are young children who are already in the sport. So for me, my role is to facilitate availability of land, and two, to facilitate, to ask, to work with the International Federation, to have us get trainers of trainers. Then the other one is to have equipment.
Its expansion followed the 2024 Kitezi landfill collapse, a disaster that exposed deep gaps in youth recreation and public safety within the community. Its construction united local and regional skate organizations including Tanzania Skateboarding, Kampala Skateboard Initiative, and the Uganda Skateboard Federation.
And now that brings us to the end of this afternoon's bulletin. Thank you so much for watching to the very end. Be sure to catch us at 8 and 10 p.m. for your news bulletins. My name is Moureen Babirye. Good afternoon for now.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Janani Day is a public holiday in Uganda, annually celebrated on 16th February. It marks the day in 1977 when former Archbishop of the Church of Uganda was martyred for his courageous stand against human rights abuses during Idi Amin's regime. The 49th commemoration of St. Janani Day will take place under the theme Anchored in Christ for Stability, Peace and Unity in Muchwini Sub-County, Kitgum District. Don't miss the live event on Monday 16th February.